My name is Alicia Vargas.
And how do you work in education?
I have been in education for the past 25 years or so. I have been a college professor, and I am now a seminary professor.
And a little bit about your personal, say, ethnic background and how you came to this country?
I am from Cuba. I was born in Cuba, and I lived in Cuba for 15 years. And I came to this country when I was 15, and as a teenager, so I finished high school here and did all my university training here. My jobs, of course, my teaching jobs have been here.
So recently, some data came out showing that in California, Latino students now make up the majority of students in the California public school system. Have you had a chance to learn about this information, and how has it struck you?
Actually, I read it not too long ago, and it surprised me. The number surprised that it was now. Of course, that was forecasted to happen, but that it is already a reality in California. I would have expected that, for example, in LA, in the LA metro area, but in taking into account the whole California, the whole state, it surprised me slightly. The trends, the national trends, we know from the U.S. Bureau projections for the population is that in 2045 the country will be a little over 50% persons of color, and from that half, the majority will be Latinos. But that there's a whole state, a big state, and that the future population that is now in school is already at 50% is quite remarkable.
And so part of the article was talking about how we can make sure that especially Latino students in the public school system make sure that they are successful and that they do thrive. A major topic was the issue of a very high percentage of Latino adults, of the parents of the Latino students, either being, not having too much power, or not having voting rights, and therefore not being able to be part of the school system and making sure that their own children are succeeding. Any thoughts on that, or how we can make sure Latino students can thrive in this environment?
Well, I think the article assumes and expects that Latino parents by themselves will be the ones that will be making sure that the schools that are now the majority Latinos, and a lot of those schools where the majority of the Latinos are underfunded. That's the point that the article makes. That the article seems to expect that the Latino parents would be the ones to elect the education board members, and will claim the rights for good schools for the children. But the schools, I think it is a community-wide investment and commitment. As a society, in the American society, we have agreed that elementary and secondary education is going to be free and accessible to all. And this is a is not a commitment of only one group of one racial ethnic group. This is a commitment of the whole society, and it doesn't matter who is in that school. If they are the majority Latinos, as a society, we have to look at our public schools and make sure that they are not underfunded, that they are serving the needs of our children and our future society. They are going to be they're going to be California in the future. They're going to be the leaders. They're going to be our future, our hope. So we do need to together look at our public schools as one community, and the article does not make that point.
And how do you feel that this data affects you and your family?
Nina, pencil.
Since I see that you have grandchildren that are Latinas and growing up in California, how does this information make you feel?
For my Latina grandchildren and for all the children, I am very concerned about the public education in California. And we have to, as I said before, we have to look at how we fund education and the equality of education for all, because we all know that not all schools are the same. We know that whoever has the means do not keep or put their kids in the bad schools. We call them bad schools, and we call them good schools. All the schools in California need to be good. So for my grandkids, which of course I know their parents are going to make sure that they are in good schools, but also for all the kids, I want to see, I have a passion to see that all the schools be equal and good in California and do not depend only on the funding that the parents, the homeowners of a particular neighborhood can afford. Because then we have a classist society, and we have inequalities based on class in a system of education that is not supposed to be unequal.
Thank you very much for your time and for sharing your wisdom with the world.